I love swimming.
Swimming! Did you hear that? People were so concerned. They saw me going to the pool. They're like, why are you in the pool? The baby will drown. I'm like, baby is in water. We talk a lot about the good things about having a baby. Let's talk about the risks. A lot of women ask me about this one. I know it's really rare, but apparently when it happens, the death rate is really high. Something called the amniotic fluid embolism.
Right.
That's
so
when the amniotic fluid goes into your blood or something. Is it really rare? Should we be even worried about it, or is there anything to do?
So I've taken care of 5 women
that
had that. They all lived.
Okay,
they all lived.
That's good to know.
They all lived. An amniotic fluid embolism, what really is required is vigilance. The minute that it's recognized, you treat it as a like a bee sting or an allergic response.
Is it like a random occurrence, or is there like anything that you did or something that put you at a higher risk, or it's just random?
Unknown, right? Unknown, right? So they've actually taken amniotic fluid from moms and they've injected it into people's circulation.
Wow.
And no problem. No problem, right? So it's very clear that some amniotic fluid is different than other amniotic fluid. So whether that's amniotic fluid with meconium, which is like a baby's bowel movement, or maybe a different time of gestation, maybe it's an allergic reaction based on what the genetic combination between you and your husband might be. But I've been through 5 cases with amniotic fluid embolism. I was very grateful that for a couple of them I was actually in a C-section. And
wow, so it can occur for natural and C-section.
Right, yeah. And in both those cases, people had a very rapid response to giving them the epinephrine and providing the support that's needed. So the one that scared me the most was managed by Dr. Kotelko, right? How do I remember a name from like 28 years ago?
I was going to ask you that.
Because that tells you how serious this was, right?
Wow.
So this woman had her C-section. Dr. Kotelko, we were in Beverly Hills at Cedars-Sinai. Dr. Kotelko had just finished writing the chapter on amniotic fluid embolism. He'd finished it for a major textbook about 2 weeks earlier. So we had our patient, and I'm getting shivers in my spine.
I do too.
I tell the story. Yeah, I get my spine. I can feel it.
Wow.
Anyway, Dr. Kotelko, I remember looking down, and the blood wasn't as bright red as I expected. It was a little bit more dusky, a little bit darker red. And I said, the blood's looking a little more dusky. And he said, I know, I started my code 2 minutes ago. He had started a full-on code on this patient 2 minutes before I said anything.
What is a code?
He was already doing resuscitation measures,
okay.
Right? So he had already given her 2 or 3 shots of epinephrine. And that woman, I think if it had not been him, she probably would have died, because there's amniotic fluid embolisms, and then there's the mother of God amniotic fluid embolism that just is so deadly, and that was one of them. I think she should have died. So that woman, that patient, we were actually able to stabilize. She went to an ICU, but she woke up and she didn't remember who she was, where she was.
Wow.
And she actually had some tiny memory loss.
Did she ever recover?
Oh yeah, she did. She fully recovered. It took her about, she was in the ICU for about 10 days. So we're talking about a lot of support services. But yeah, she eventually went home and went fine. But everything was fine. But that period of time around that surgery,
That was critical.
It was critical, but she also lost the memory of that time.
Wow.
Right? So every time you see something new or do something, that memory goes to an area called your hippocampus, and then it gets organized and it put in your long-term memory. Because that memory hadn't been...
Traumatic.
Yeah, because this traumatic event didn't have a chance to get organized, that's just kind of one part of her life that's just kind of missing. She has a hole in her memory of about an hour where she couldn't remember anything really.
But
right.
She lived. That's the most important thing.
She lived.
Yay, hooray!
She lived. And right, please don't use the fear of an amniotic fluid embolism or something called...
How rare is it?
Very rare. Like we're talking about in the order of 1 in 10,000. I mean, really, really rare. Maybe people say 1 in 50,000. I mean, we're talking about extraordinarily rare events. The only reason why I've seen as many as I've seen is that I've delivered a lot of kids. So I should see. I've seen 2 or 3, but I was always at a referral center. So we were in the catchment area of hundreds of thousands of births. So if someone had an amniotic fluid embolism, they would be referred into us. Yeah. So that's one reason why I've seen 5. So for me to have delivered 23,000 kids and only seen 5. Talking about things that have been referred in.
You do the math.
Yeah, do the math. This is rare.
So don't worry about it, but make sure you have good.
This is like going to a beach and finding a diamond that you put on your finger, right?
Oh wow.
Right? You're not good luck in finding that diamond on some random beach, but that's kind of what the odds are.
That's kind of odds. Let's talk about after cesarean, the use of painkillers. Can you take them when you're breastfeeding, or is there anything that you should watch out for?
Right.
Moms are always guilt tripped, like don't do it, you're breastfeeding.
So the passage of all those things in the breast milk is small, but there is a passage. But you're not going to make yourself an addict, and you're not going to give your baby an addict by taking pain medicine that you need to take care of pain.
But from a maternal point of view, it's not going to affect your baby.
Yeah, not going to affect your baby. Take what you need for the pain that you have. There's no shame in taking medicine. And if you don't take the medicine, that means you won't move, you won't get around the way you should, and then you're going to delay your recovery. Because part of your recovery is moving around, going to the bathroom, stretching, turning, and if every time you stretch and turn, you have pain,
it can be a pleasant experience.
Yeah, it's just take what you need, take no more, and everything will be fine.
Okay.
And we could talk about epidural being God's gift, but you know what? Whoever figured out morphine, that totally changed humanity, right? You think about the people that have suffered for millennia that had no effective source for relief or pain.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, right. It's heartbreaking. You have people that have chronic pain syndromes. I'm glad we have something effective to help them, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that I get to take care of young, healthy people that need a little bit of pain management. But if your grandma has severe pain, or you have a grandfather that has severe back pain and they can't get relief, boy, what a godsend that they can get something treated right.
And you can actually have a normal life with pain relief. Let's talk about how soon you can start exercising after cesarean and natural birth.
Wow, there's not really good data on this. I was not quite such a promoter of exercise earlier in my professional career, and the longer I get going through, I don't want people running marathons while they're pregnant, but people could actually be quite active. You should be able to exercise all the way up to nearly having your baby. So long as you can talk through the exercise. I mean, if you're breathless, you probably should be take it down a notch. But if you're able to talk while you're exercising,
then you're fine.
you're fine. And frankly, as soon as you quit having, the minute you're through your basic several days, 3 or 4 days of surgery, and you go home, I think taking a walk is totally fine. Doing things. Probably don't want you lifting heavy objects. Probably don't want you having sex for a couple days. I mean, a couple weeks, but people really can probably do a lot more than we tell them.
We tell them.
And what I don't want people to do is say, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm going to go lay down on this bed for weeks.
I really want to do that though. I have no energy. Like really just, who else wants to do that? I really just want to be like, oh.
Yeah, so there used to be hospitals, used to be called lying in hospitals, right? Once you were pregnant, you went into lying in, and you would kind of do nothing and gestate. And then after you had your baby, people would say, oh, you can't do anything for the next 3 months.
Yeah. My uterus is doing a lot of work. I just want to chill.
Well, I think chilling is one thing, but I think being mobile is really important. It's never good to think about working and getting exhausted. I don't think that's good in a pregnancy state. It's frankly not good in a non-pregnancy state. But keeping yourself fit and active,
it's always good.
It's all good. And you know what? You were talking to me earlier about your grandma, and I'm sorry that's it's a poor topic, but your grandma was 92 before she died.
Yeah.
I'm sure your grandma got to be 92 because she didn't let anybody do anything for her. I mean, she
had 6 children, all natural. She delivered at home.
No
problem.
And when she was 85, 91, 92, she was busy probably running around, right? Busy doing things.
Actually, she wasn't, because she was bedridden because of her, like you said, she had severe calcium deficiency, so her spinal cord all collapsed.
Oh,
she
really?
actually wasn't able to move for 13 years before she passed. Well, she was able to move, but she couldn't walk a lot.
Right.
But we were thinking that if she didn't have that situation, she would have lived much longer. And she was a heavy smoker too.
So take away the smoking and you take away the immobility for 13 years.
She could have lived till 100.
100, 110.
Yep.
I mean, it's
amazing, right?
I'm sure she was quite lean.
Yeah, she's quite lean.
Yeah, so you take someone that's got a lean physique and had a very active life.
Take care of yourself, ladies. We all want to live till we're 110. At least.
Live a long time.
That's my goal. What are the best recommended exercises for pregnant women?
I love swimming.
Swimming! Did you hear that? People were so concerned. They saw me going to the pool. They're like, why are you in the pool? A baby will drown. I'm like, baby is some water.
Yeah. Swimming is great. You know, when you're swimming, you're actually weightless. No, essentially weightless. You're buoyant in the water. All those ligaments that are being stretched and pulled in ways that that have never been pushed or pulled before, all get to relax. It's great for your heart, your circulatory system. The weight of the water itself helps centralize your circulation. That's really, the baby loves that. You get to move all your joints to their full range of motion. Your joints love that. You're not likely to injure yourself because your center of balance. Your center of balance is kind of changed to pregnancy. You know, you go try to do yoga, now you're pregnant, you might fall over, right?
Totally. When I walk, I feel like a duck these days. I waddle. It's kind of like
I'm sure it's a very
not
cute.
So graceful.
I'm sure it's a very cute walk. But anyway, so swimming is really great. The exercise question though is really important, and it's important because with pregnancy you have hormones that actually help loosen up your joints. It helps get your pelvis ready for childbirth. So you'll have people that they'll go, wow, I'm pregnant, and now I can do this crazy pose, or I can do this or that. And what they don't realize is that is actually hormonally, it happened because their hormonal balance is a little bit different. Everything's intended to be more flexible, but they can damage themselves very, very easily.
You can injure yourself.
Yeah, so don't try new yoga poses. If you're doing yoga before pregnancy, by all means you can do it afterwards, but don't try to do that extra.
Yeah, don't start anything new.
Yeah, no new exotic stretches. Right, because the problem is the pregnancy will end, the hormones will go away, and you'll probably still be able to do those maneuvers, but it's because your joints or the ligaments that held those joints together have been damaged.
I see.
And I've seen it happen a lot of times. So
be careful, ladies.
Be careful.
Yeah.
the other thing, I think walking is a tremendous exercise. Tremendous mode of exercise when you're pregnant. Anything light weight, light aerobic work, that's all good. But yeah, anything that's really intense or things that you can't talk through, please avoid that.
Yep. Okay, and to end this, Dr. Shumway, sorry for taking so much of your time. I feel like we can just sit here and talk to you all day. But let's finish this with some mythbusters. And there are a lot of misconceptions out there, some old wives' tales, and we just want to bust all the myths for all the ladies out there watching this. I'm going to ask you a few questions quickly, and you just tell us true or not, yes or no. I'll wait for a brief answer.
Okay.
Can you wear makeup when you're pregnant?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. So for all the ladies out there who's been confused with this question, you're fine. And then also,
let me give the follow-up.
Yeah.
Can you dye your hair while you're pregnant?
I was told I have to use all natural products, but I avoided it.
Yeah, so I would avoid it.
Yeah.
I think the chemicals are quite strong. I think, if you can find a natural product that you're happy with, great, but I probably would tell people to avoid
dyeing your hair.
Dyeing your hair.
Great to know. What about your nails? Can you do your nails?
You can do your nails.
You can do your nails. So we can do our nails. That's no problem.
You can do your nails.
Make sure your room is ventilated.
Right.
Okay. And also, can you eat cooked crab meat?
You can eat cooked crab meat.
可以吃螃蟹.
Yeah. So the only issue to me really regarding any of the fish or things, we just want to have your fish, crab, lobster, shrimp, whatever you're going to eat. It needs to be sourced from
ethical sources.
Ethical sources, but safe sources, right? The concern really is mercury in the fish. Mm-hmm. So the higher you're up in the food chain on the fish, the higher the mercury content could be. So it's important that you're paying attention to where your seafood, crab, whatever it is. Right.
Okay. And another wide believed myth is that if you touch your pregnant belly, then your baby will have the umbilical cord wrapped around his or her neck, and don't touch your belly. There we go. You see, ladies?
Yeah.
Encourage to touch, interact with the baby, right?
I think that a mother's belly is the most attractive feature that God ever developed, right? It's just amazing to know that there's a new life in there. And, who wouldn't want to touch this?
I know. Who wouldn't want to?
And I remember when my wife was pregnant, and she'd say, come on over here, feel the baby kicking, right? It was just the most amazing experience. Not as great as delivering the baby, but it was just amazing to feel that new life in the mom, right?
For sure.
So I don't know where that came through, but do not deny yourself some of the great joys.
Touch away, interact with the baby, encourage your husband to do it too.
Yeah.
Enjoy this miraculous time, because you only have 9 months, and then you have to wait for the next one. Right. So touch the baby away. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Shumway. We love you.
Great.
Really, really appreciate it. 我们太 lucky 了 ，we're so lucky. 大家今天来听我跟 Dr. Shumway 的对话。如果你们还有什么问题，我也尽量在以后我会问他，然后我来回答你们，好不好？感谢大家 ，Dr. Shumway say bye. Thank you so much.
再见。
We're so glad we have you here.